show you guys something here that I've made. What do you guys think about this stuff?
I think it's cornstarch with water.
You think it's cornstarch and water? Because you know that, because we've done that, but we're pretending like we've not done this 100 times. So, what do you think would happen if I tried to pour this? Does it look like a liquid?
No.
Yeah, right now it does.
Half of it.
Does it look like a liquid?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think is going to happen if I try to pour it?
Probably pour pretty easy.
You think it'll pour easily?
It depends on which parts you're looking at.
What do you mean?
That solid part right there, well, kind of solid, and that's water part. There's some water in it still.
You think there's water in it? What do you think would happen if I applied pressure to it?
It would change its form.
You think it would change its form if I apply pressure?
Mm-hmm.
So if I put it
No,
down,
you would change its form.
I would change its form? I don't know. Try pressing on it right there. Does it change easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're having to pinch it and everything else. It doesn't look too easy. Press down like that. What does it feel like?
It feels like it turns into solid at first and then kind of eases its way down to a liquid.
So it doesn't...
It feels like it has a solid layer on top, and then a little bit mushier in the middle.
Okay. So do you think we can pour it out of that bag? Do you think it's going to pour?
Not that easily, but it will pour eventually.
Okay. Well, let's try it. Here's you guys a pan. And do you have it open?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to try to pour it?
Mm-hmm.
How about I help you open it? Try to pour it in your pan. Is it pouring easily?
A little bit.
Taking some time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Kind of a thick, gooey mixture.
Uh-huh. What's it doing?
It takes its form of the shape just like water does, or orange juice, or any liquid.
Or any liquid? So the Oobleck, can you say Oobleck?
Oobleck.
Is taking form of the pan. Let me see if we can. We got it? Think we can work any more of it out?
Probably.
Yeah.
So is Oobleck a solid or is it a liquid?
I think it's 2 states of matter.
You think
Put
it's 2
together.
states? Okay, so what 3 states? Hang on just a
Oh,
second.
that's cool.
Is it cool? What 3 states of matter do we know?
Air,
Solid, liquid, and
liquids,
gas.
and gas.
Solid, liquid, and gas. So you think it's a solid and a liquid.
After time, it breaks down where your fingers can come in, but if you try to pull them out, it's harder.
Okay.
See, my fingers just kind of slide in with it.
Mm-hmm.
They go down, but whenever you try to take them out, it's not as
They
easy.
kind of slowly sink
Mhm.
into it.
It's kind of like quicksand,
Yeah. Quicksand.
or slow sand. Ah.
Okay, well we have a few little items here to see if we can test to see if it is a solid. We've got some string and
Can I put the coin in?
toothpicks and some coins. And here's a paper clip.
It's kind of like wet when you touch it, but then dry when it gets on your hands.
So do your hands feel wet or dry?
They feel kind of dry right now.
Whenever you pull them out, it's dry. Whenever you don't, it's not.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Do you see how when you move your fingers,
Looks
Whenever-
like pudding.
it looks like it's just water rolling back, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It
You see
looks
that?
like milk.
It does look like milk.
Before you touch it, and no, it's not. It's some sort of solid thing. It looks like
Like you
milk.
pick it up and it's like picking up a solid, but then once it's in your hand, it goes to a liquid.
Mm-hmm. Someone's burying my hand. Slowly. Oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's try putting some of our objects on there and seeing if they'll stay on top. Which one are we going to put on there first? Layton, you choose. Which object do you want to put on there first?
Coin.
Okay, hang on. You pick the object, so Holden, you make the prediction. Is the coin going to sink, like the Oobleck is a liquid, or is it going to stay on top of the surface like it's a solid?
I think it'll stay on top.
You think it'll stay on top?
Let's
Okay.
see. Maybe a little bit of both.
What happened?
It sank.
It sank. Okay, Holden, do you think we have an object that might sit on the top?
I think the yarn will sit on the top, probably.
Okay.
I don't think it will.
So you don't think it will?
I think eventually it will sink.
I think it's a
Oh.
lot lighter and it'll stay on top.
Why do you think it's going to sink, Layton?
Because it still is a weight, even though it's light. And everything will sink. No matter how long it takes, everything that has a weight will sink in
You
water.
think so? Would a feather sink in water?
It depends on which kind of feather you're looking at.
What do you mean? What kind of feather do you think would sink?
The kind of feathers that don't stay dry.
Or down.
Okay. So you want to try the yarn?
Yeah, because the yarn,
Here.
the yarn will probably absorb and be
Oh.
heavier.
Absorb what?
The gooey doo boo.
The liquid in it,
liquid.
right?
Blech.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. I think we just need to give it time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's gonna float. It's got a, I don't know.
You don't know why it's floating? What do you think, Layton?
I think it's just not.
It's too high right here. It's not soft. See? If it's soft, it could lower.
It still didn't sink.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So did it even, other than where you touched it, there wasn't even any that got on it?
Mm-mm.
Didn't pick it up like our fingers did.
You think maybe it's because it's so light?
Mm-hmm.
It's too light to sink, that doesn't have enough weight to change the shape of
Next.
the Oobleck.
I think this will stay above.
And then you'll say above.
What do you know?
It's kind of slowly sinking.
I'm gonna give it a few more seconds.
It's not moving.
Nope. Well, what do you think? Was your prediction right or wrong?
Right.
It did. It stayed on top, didn't it?
Mm.
Okay, we have one more item we can
Ooh,
test.
that
Holden,
was
you
big.
want to stick it in there? We'll make your
I think
prediction
it-
first.
Clip.
I think it'll probably fall.
Yeah, I think it's gonna fall over
We
time.
agree it'll sink. I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's going to sink too.
Okay.
I agree with your prediction. Let's see. What?
Kind of have a lot of surface tension, I guess.
What's it doing?
Just floating on top.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, since it's staying on top of the surface, is the Oobleck acting like a liquid or a solid right now?
Solid.
A solid.
It is.
But act like a liquid for the coin.
It did. You think we should try another coin? Was that was
Yeah.
the first one a dime?
Yeah, it was a dime.
Okay, well we have some.
No, it was a
pennies here.
penny. It was a
It
penny.
was a well.
That's
here.
a dime.
What's
yeah,
that?
silver.
So we want to try a penny?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Try
think-
not to move it around too much, okay? Because when you do, oh, well
Like,
now it's gonna sink.
Hey, Tom. You're like,
Here's one more that's. Here you get.
like, yeah, I got it this time.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
It sinks.
Yeah, I think it sinks.
Come in mine.
Yeah, put it in.
Let's put in all the objects.
Watch it sink. Oh, let's not put it all in there,
Yeah.
Layton. Let's not put all that in there.
I wonder if.
Oh
the,
my
I
gosh.
think the toothpick it actually picks up some of the stuff when you put it in. I think. But like unlike the yarn, it doesn't.
Yeah, the yarn didn't pick up anything, did it? Let's
This
look at.
penny isn't sinking anymore.
Okay, watch this. Like, let me try to keep it over the perfume, please. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Don't drop any on there. Let's give it another try. Let's see if it can stay clean. My hands got it a tiny bit dirty, but we'll check it out. Nothing's happening, huh?
Mm-mm.
Looks the same as it did, doesn't it? Okay, so
Layton, stop.
what did you guys notice?
That the penny was the penny and the dime were the only ones that did it. And I think one of the main reasons that the paperclip didn't sink, it had a middle that wasn't clear, so it didn't have as much weight in the middle to sink it.
Okay. What do you think, Holden?
I think it, I don't know. I think it was just maybe a little bit heavier.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it sunk.
Well, that's a good thought, because what are all of our coins made of?
Metal.
They're all metal. They're heavier. Metal's usually, not always, but usually heavier than wood, huh? And our paper clips and our yarn, they were very, very light, weren't they? Okay, so what are the properties of a liquid?
Oh, I didn't notice yet.
Oh, you have, remember? When we were talking about liquids and what happens when we pour them into a container? What happens?
Yeah, they keep the amount of it, but then like they take the shape. Of
They
the
take the
container.
shape, but they keep them out.
Okay, so one of the properties of liquid is it takes the form of its container. Good job. And what makes it sink to the bottom of the container?
The weight.
What's the force that keeps us all?
Oh, gravity.
Yeah, it keeps us all down. The gravity pushes down and makes the liquid go to the bottom of the container and take its shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about a solid? What's the property of a
But
solid?
whenever this touches that, it melts into it for some reason.
Okay.
Whenever it touches each other, it becomes a liquid, and then it sinks down, and then once it gets sinked down, it becomes a solid.
Okay, so if you put the Oobleck in your hand, what property? Is it going to be a property of liquid or a property of solid?
Property of solid, probably.
What happens? Put it in your fingers.
Oh, liquid.
Well, it starts out a little bit solid.
Because it's working its way down, isn't it? It's trying to take shape. Remember, the liquids take shape of their container?
Yeah.
And the Oobleck is trying to find something to help form its shape.
It can.
If you
It
put it
feels
over your
really
fingers,
good.
it'll just roll
When it
right
gets
through.
solid, it looks dry.
So, when it's in our hand, it'll run through our fingers and it has the properties of a liquid. What about, let's put it all in the pan for just a second. Let's put it all in the pan. See if we can get some of that in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oobleck does have some properties of a liquid, right? Oh, just stay right here, bud. We'll wash our hands when we're all done because we don't want to go wash now and then get messy again. Let's leave our hands out though for a second. Just sit down. Okay. So, when it was in your hands, it ran through your fingers and had properties of a liquid, right? Okay, let's look at it right now in the pan. Layton, you see this? What properties does it have now in the pan?
Liquid.
Nope, let's not, hang on, get your hands out for just
No,
one
it
second.
it's not liquid, it's solid because it's touching other
It
stuff.
looks like
Okay.
cottage cheese right now.
And because, look, if this was a pan of water, would that toothpick sit on top like that?
Mm-mm.
It'd float.
You think it would float?
Yeah, it would float.
Let's go see.
Well, we're not going to check. Well, that will be another time, okay? What about the yarn? What if that was water?
It would still.
It wouldn't, because it would absorb.
Because it would absorb the liquid. So right now, the Oobleck has a form, and we can rest the yarn on top of it. So if we can place something on top of its surface, what properties of the is it more solid or more liquid?
More
More solid. Okay. So now, what does hold its shape?
the container.
The pie pan, the container does?
Because it's a solid.
So what do you think would happen if I took out the Oobleck and put it in here?
Take the
Oh,
same
let's
shape
not really do that.
as that.
But what would happen? Try to imagine if we put it in here, what would happen?
It would take its form and then become solid.
Mm-hmm. It would show its properties of a liquid and take the form of the container, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's put it back in there for a second. We're gonna try something else.
Oh look, it cracked right here.
Mm-hmm. Can you get it off and back in the pan?
Yep. You're just getting down on it. You're not.
So, what do you think will happen if I if I just touch the Oobleck?
Stay solid, kind of.
Okay, and what's going to happen if I kind of, hang on, you gotta listen. What's going to be the difference between me touching it and me punching it with my finger?
This, if you touch it, it sinks. But if
I
you
think-
punch it, it doesn't do it because it's force. Force doesn't always solve stuff.
That's right. If you barely touch it, your finger sinks down in it. But if you hit it hard, it's a solid, isn't it?
Because I think the more pressure you apply, is the harder it gets too.
Yeah?
It's like if I whack it
So
with a
see,
hammer,
do that with your finger. It's like a solid.
It's like if I whack it with a
But
hammer.
now take your finger and just gently put it on there. It's a liquid,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pretty cool stuff. Okay, now are you guys just messing with it?
Mm-hmm.
Feels pretty neat, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was going to have you write on a card, but because we're pretty dirty, I'm just going to ask you guys, is Oobleck a solid, liquid, or gas? And you can explain your answer. You want to go first, Holden?
Yeah, I think it's a solid and a liquid depending on how you mess with it.
Okay.
I think same as him.
You think the same? I'm going to tell you guys what it is. It's a non-Newtonian fluid.
What?
That's a big word, huh? Okay, I'm going to write it down for you.
I want to go wash my hands because it's so weird.
1 second and I'll show you what this word is because it's big. Non-Newtonian fluid. So, using what you know about the Oobleck, what do you think a non-Newtonian fluid is?
It's
Can
a
you-
gas and water. It's solid and liquid, and it also means that they're all the same.
They're all the same? You mean all the fluids are the same?
Nope. My head just isn't working right.
Okay. So a non-Newtonian fluid is a fluid that can have the properties of a solid and a liquid, right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Okay. So, can you guys think of any other things that you might know about that could be a non-Newtonian fluid?
It kind of
Slime.
cracks easy when it's solid. It cracks easy, like
Slime.
Yeah, it just breaks right apart, doesn't it?
Slime
Do you
can
think slime?
slime can feel like a liquid.
Okay. Can you think of anything else? that might be both a solid and a liquid?
Custard. If you get custard, doesn't it have
Custard? Like you mean like the ice cream, or like a custard pie?
Eggs, because the shell is a solid and
Well, but that's two different parts of the egg. So you have a solid shell and then a liquid center. What about something that you guys like to play in after it rains and a couple times you've been in trouble because you've taken baths in it?
mud.
Yeah, sometimes mud can be thick like a solid.
and goozies.
And sometimes it can look like a solid and you sink in it. Okay. You ready to give me the pennies? Yeah, get the pennies out for me.
And